How you doing, everybody? Today we're taking a quick look at The Long Walk. This was directed by Francis Lawrence and stars Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and Mark Hamill. This movie takes place in an alternate universe where the United States of America has become a dystopian police state. Make your own jokes. And in this dystopian America, there is an annual contest where one young man from each state is chosen for the long walk. The rules are simple. Keep walking until you can't walk anymore. And when you can't walk anymore, you die. The last man standing wins a shitload of money and one wish. This is based on the first book Stephen King wrote, although not the first one he had published. And I hate to refer to it as Stephen King's version of The Hunger Games because The Long Walk came first, but the similarities are there. It is much simpler than The Hunger Games because, they're just walking, but despite its simplicity, it is very intense. The boys are struggling through injuries, exhaustion, illness, and even just basic bodily functions. There are no bathroom breaks on The Long Walk. If you gotta take a dump, you gotta drop trow, squeeze it out as quickly as you can, and get moving before they shoot you. And that happens in this movie more than once. There is a considerable amount of pooping. There's no sleep breaks either, and somehow they manage to sleep while walking. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I mean, I know sleepwalking is a thing, but I don't think it works in real life the same way it works in the movie. A real version of The Long Walk would probably have most people succumbing to exhaustion on the first day, but in the movie, the winner makes it all the way to day 5. I also would have thought they would be wearing better footwear. So many of the boys in this movie, I'm like, those are the shoes you chose for The Long Walk? Oh, you're not gonna make it. Because of the story's simplicity, it has to rely pretty heavily on the performances and the dialogue. The performances are very good. The dialogue, not always. This is something I've seen more than once in Stephen King adaptations. The dialogue doesn't always feel natural. Granted, part of that may be that the story was written in and takes place in the 1970s, and I wasn't even born yet, so for all I know, maybe people just talk like that back then. Much of the focus is on Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, who play walkers Raymond Garrity and Peter McVries. They meet during the walk and quickly become friends, which even some of the other walkers point out is kind of foolish because your friendship's not going to last very long. At least one of you is going to be dead by the end. Nevertheless, the friendship does feel very genuine, and I liked how they played off each other. And it is not lost on me that Hoffman is playing a character in this movie who lost his father at a young age, and considering he is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, that definitely hits close to home for him. And he's talked about this in interviews where he said he drew on his personal experience when playing the character, and I thought he did a hell of a job. I was a little surprised at one aspect of Peter's character, or rather the lack thereof. I believe in the book there is a point where he admits he has had homosexual feelings and is even attracted to Ray, and in the movie they kinda sorta hint at it, but then they just kinda forget about it. There's a scene where Ray is talking about this girl he used to date, and he asks Peter if he has a girl back home, and there is this uncomfortably long pause before Peter finally says, No, I do not. And I'm thinking, because... But then this is never addressed again, and that really surprised me. It's like they wanted to talk about it, but at the same time they didn't, and go there or don't, but you gotta pick one. And I do have to mention Mark Hamill, who is playing the mysterious figure simply known as the Major. He is in charge of the Long Walk, and possibly in charge of the entire country as well, or at least he's up there. And this character is a real bastard with a bizarre sense of national pride. Just before the walk, he's like, I look at you boys, and I know this country has a bright future. And I'm thinking, okay, but if these boys are the bright future of this country, why are you about to kill all but one of them? The Major also spends quite a bit of time talking about the boys' sacks throughout the movie, and I don't mean the ones they're carrying on their back. Throughout the movie, he's like, yeah, you boys got the sack. You swing that sack. Flex that sack! I don't know how that works. I certainly do not claim to be an expert, but if your sack is flexing, I think you need to talk to your doctor. In any case, I enjoyed this character very much. Hamill was clearly having the time of his life chewing all the scenery, and he was a lot of fun. I was a little surprised at the ending, and indeed anyone familiar with the book will be, because they went in kind of a different direction. I won't give anything away, but I will say it was not at all what I expected, but I thought it worked pretty well. And Stephen King signed off on the new ending, so clearly he did as well. And that really doesn't surprise me. I don't think Stephen King is enough of an egomaniac to look at something he wrote when he was in college and think, oh yeah, that's perfect the way it is, no room for improvement. In any case, the movie is by no means perfect, but it is still an effective and intense story with some great performances from Hoffman and Johnson in particular. And I could recommend seeing it as a matinee. And that's all I have to say about the long walk. Till next time, take care.